Thank you. I wanted to ask about the war tourism of former MP Wyatt Roy.
Yes.
That's obviously been a matter that's been reported quite broadly in the media. Has that matter been referred to the AFP?
No, Senator, but we're very conscious that it was a high-profile matter and we did our own due diligence to satisfy ourselves, but no, we don't have a current open investigation in relation to that.
Okay, and during that due diligence process, did you form a view as to whether Mr Roy may have entered a declared or remained in a declared area under section 1192 of the Criminal Code Act?
Senator, based on the public reporting, we did form a conclusion that we didn't believe that any offences had been committed. I guess I should leave commentary about the appropriateness of the activity to the government, which they have made comment on, but we have no actual active investigation in relation to his movements.
Did you interview Mr Roy as part of your investigations?
I'd have to take that on notice. We didn't have an investigation, Senator.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've misrepresented you and I apologise for that. So what was the nature of the work that the AFP did in relation to this?
Reviewing what was publicly known about his travel and satisfying ourselves as to whether we felt there was a need for us to investigate or to delve further, to satisfy ourselves as to whether we believe offences have been committed or not. I don't know whether Mr Roy's returned to the country. I'm not too sure.
Senator, I have to take on notice as to whether or not he was spoken to, but it's not dissimilar to a number of other matters that have happened before when we've had journalists go overseas into the theatre, we've had families of travelling members and so on. We have a preliminary look at those people that have travelled over to see whether or not we believe they may have gone to declared areas, etc. And similar to those matters, we've found no evidence at all that suggests that any offences have been committed.
So when you say, look, I'll put the questions to the Commissioner and obviously he can dole them out as he sees.
On a point of order.
Yes.
Mr Roy is a private citizen and was a private citizen at all relevant times. And both Commissioner Colvin and Deputy Commissioner Phelan have given clear evidence that no offence has been committed by him or matter of interest to the Australian Federal
no, they haven't actually.
Police.
No, they haven't.
So,
well, just I'm listening to the attorney's point of order. You can have a comment on the point of order.
I just wonder why the affairs of a private citizen who is not under investigation and in respect of whom there is no view held by the Australian Federal Police that they may have committed an offence should be a matter for this estimates.
Well, on that point of order, if I might respond to it, Chair, the Prime Minister himself was very critical of Mr Roy's actions. This is a legitimate matter for this committee because the AFP, on their own motion, reviewed publicly available information relating to Mr Roy, and that's the matter that I'm asking questions about.
But they've told you their conclusion, and I don't think, with respect, the matter can be pursued.
Well, Chair, I intend to continue on this line of questioning.
Nor would it, of course, Mr Chairman, be appropriate to pursue any matter involving the investigation of any citizen in this forum.
Yes, I'm not sure that the point. I mean, I think it's a matter for the Federal Police to answer and I would hope they would answer in the way you've mentioned, Senator Brandis, because it is it's difficult to relate how that question relates to the estimates, although I guess there was some consideration of the matter which involved money of the taxpayer, but I'll allow the officers to answer as they think fit.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner, Mr Phelan intimated that the AFP's reviewed other circumstances of Australian citizens, at least potentially entering declared areas. Did those reviews simply consist of a review of the publicly available information, or did they delve more deeply into the possibility, including by investigating on the ground?
So, Senator, the first point I would make is that we have treated the matters of Mr Roy no different to any other Australian citizen. Obviously, we take an interest in Australian citizens who travel to the conflict zone, and by interest, I don't want that to be interpreted as criminal interest, but we may be able to glean other material and information. We wouldn't normally talk about them, obviously, but Mr Roy's matter was in the public. I don't plan to go into a great deal of detail, but we take a general interest in people who travel to the conflict zone.